So everyone knows there's nothing more terrifying than when a kid's toy turns evil. There's just something about little creepy dolls that really makes your skin crawl. But what if you accidentally unleashed a giant demonic clown that started hunting people down for sport? These idiots have no idea what's coming, and we're here to break down the mistakes made, what you should do, and how to beat the demonic clown in Jack in the Box Rises. This robbery is about to turn into a homicide. Late one night, somewhere in the big city, a group of burglars break into an abandoned building, searching for a valuable artifact. The place looks like some kind of workshop, and they keep getting creeped out by the lifelike dolls that are all over the room. At the end of a hallway, everything changes when they find a wooden dummy with a real human head placed on top. One of them decides to bail, but Raven here thinks that this must be what they came for, and they both lean in for a closer look. Opening its chest, she finds a strange wooden heart hidden inside. But that's when they hear their friend screaming for help. As he's trying to run outside, he crashes right into this creepy old man who's been watching from the shadows and forces him down face first onto a table saw. Sensing danger, the others try to run for it, but Todd here gets hit with a throwing knife to the dome before he can even make it to the door, making 2 down with 8 more to go. Lucky for Raven, she's able to hide out behind a desk until he passes, and dodges his last throw as she escapes through the window. But for her, the real danger is just getting started. Okay, this plan was an absolute joke, and you know what's really crazy? Even in a building full of puppets, Raven and her friends turned out to be the real dummies all along. Now, I don't know about you, but as soon as I walked in and saw those creepy-ass dolls, I would have been looking for another place to steal from. I mean, that sure looked like real eyeballs to me, and I'm 99% sure that was an actual human head on Pinocchio over here. So unless the boss sent you to rob Jigsaw, it might be time to start worrying about whose workshop you're walking into after seeing some like that. It's gonna take a pretty big paycheck for me to go any deeper into this literal attic of nightmares, and that's why Buddy here had the right idea when he decided that he'd seen enough. It's always better to trust your instincts and get out while you still have a chance, but then he immediately made the absolute worst decision possible. Instead of sticking near the rest of the group, he split up and made himself a vulnerable target. Then it was a piece of cake for the doll maker to sneak up and introduce him to the table saw. You always want to stick with the group, because you need as many meat shields as possible when the shit starts going down. Oh, and speaking of going down, this dude just stood there and accepted his fate as soon as he saw the creepy old man. Hey buddy, haven't you ever heard of fight or flight? Because usually you're supposed to pick at least one. Any self-respecting burglar would be highly trained in hand-to-hand combat skills and could have made light work of evil Santa here. Just shine your flashlight in his eyes to blind him, hit him with a quick 2-piece combo to the jaw, and escape through the window while he's distracted by your friends. Simple as that. Speaking of his friends, they heard their buddy screaming bloody murder as he was brutally killed approximately 5 feet away, and then just stood there after it stopped like must have been the wind. Well, when you act like an NPC, you die like an NPC. That's why Todd here got one-shotted in the noggin before he even knew what the hell was going on. If you're in this situation and see the guy lining up his shot, you might want to try ducking or moving to the side instead of catching the blade with your prefrontal cortex like him. At least Raven had the right idea by using the others as meat shields while she snuck by and made her escape. And it's a good thing that she's actually got some survival skills, because she's gonna need them for what's coming up next. After failing the mission, Raven has to go back and explain things to her boss, Harvey. But this creep isn't about to go easy on her, even though she tried as hard as she could. Furious with her for not getting the job done, he takes out his phone and calls up his associates, who immediately start putting the beat down on a mysterious prisoner that makes Raven here very upset, begging them to stop. She asks her boss for one more chance to pay off their debt, seeming desperate enough to do anything. After letting her sweat for a minute, he finally tells his henchmen to stop, but this time he has an even more dangerous job in mind. Instead of the heart, he wants her to track down a legendary object called the Jackass Mara, which is said to contain an ancient and powerful demon. Reaching into his desk, he pulls out the journal of the man who created it, explaining that the demon is sealed in a magical box. He's traced the object back to Rosewood Manor, an all-girls boarding school where a brutal massacre happened a few years back. The previous owner told him that he'd find a box in a secret room somewhere within the property, but no matter how hard he's searched, he's never been able to find it. Now he wants Raven to go undercover as a student and find the box to pay back her debts, warning her not to open it whatever she does. When she finally arrives at the school, her first stop is at the office of the headmistress, Principal Hinch. The woman immediately hands her a uniform, telling her that she'll need to follow the dress code from now on. She even makes Raven hand over her phone, and when the girl makes a comment that she'd rather be in jail, the woman explains that this place is actually much worse. This school isn't just about education, it's about making sure that they stay out of trouble. And if she ever wants to leave the property, she'll have to get permission from the principal here first. Taking her things, she goes to change and meet the other girls for the first time, but they don't exactly give her the warmest welcome. No one even turns to look at her as she enters the room, except for this nerdy girl Kara, who gets up and introduces herself first. Olivia here immediately starts making fun of her name, but Kara says to ignore her as she introduces everyone else in the room. Most of these girls have been there for a while, and Olivia says that it's because their families are better off without them. There's one last person who doesn't fit in with all of the others: Olivia's boyfriend, Dean. Just then, they see a news report about how a rare, red fog is about to cover the entire area for the next few days, making travel almost impossible. That night, Raven looks through the journal for the first time and learns some interesting details about how the object works. If someone opens the seal, that person is granted a wish, and they'll be safe while the demon collects its end of the bargain, claiming the souls of 6 victims before returning to the box. Laughing to herself, the girl thinks that it's all make-believe, but it won't be long before she realizes the horrifying truth. Okay, it looks like Raven here just got herself wrapped up in a classic fetch quest, because while she's busy playing goth Nancy Drew, she actually missed the most obvious opportunity ever to solve all of her problems in a much simpler way. Let's rewind back to Harvey's office and really break down the situation here. She's standing in a locked room with just her, the guy who kidnapped her father, and a freaking pistol on the table. Now, I'm sorry, but when you're already risking your life fighting with demons and trying to save dear old dad, then why not just crash out and go after the guy who's actually the source of all your problems? She literally knew exactly what he was doing as soon as he took out his phone, so why even let him make the call? Just grab the strap, force Harvey to let your dad go, empty out his bank accounts, flee the country, and live happily ever after. Sure, it's pretty risky, but it's gotta be much easier than chasing around demonic toys that hunger for innocent souls, right? And sometimes the best solution is the one that's staring you right in the face. Now, since she took the deal, it looks like Raven has to find this box before her dad ends up inside of one. The best place for her to start is by carefully reading through every page of this journal and searching for any hidden codes or messages that might tell her where to look. The box seems to be connected to this mysterious massacre that took place at the school many years ago, so I'd tried doing some research about the event and the history of the building, and seeing if I could find any potential leads. One of the best things to have would be a map or blueprint of the property to help her find any unused or hidden areas. There are a few places where she might find one, and I'd try checking the principal's office, the library, or any archive room where they keep records about the school. To avoid attracting any unnecessary attention, Raven should do her best to blend in with the other girls at the school, and they might even help her find what she's looking for. Her first instinct might be to stick with Kara here, because she's obviously friendly and helpful, and that's true, but there's also another angle that Raven might want to take. Instead of getting in with goody two-shoes Kara over here, I'd try making friends with the bad students like Olivia and Aaron. They know all the secret spots spots where they can break the rules without getting caught by the principal, and when you really think about it, those less traveled parts of the property are going to be exactly where you want to look for a hidden treasure. Now, if Raven does find the box, then she should totally just open it and wish for her dad's freedom, since, after all, Harvey only warned her not to do that because he knows it's a good idea. Later that night, after everyone goes to bed, Raven quietly goes around the building, checking the walls with a scanner. She can't find anything at first, but when she turns around, a giant demonic clown suddenly reaches out and slits her throat with its claws, only for her to wake up in her own bed and realize that it was all a dream, because when she looks at the journal, she sees that there's some new information written in blood. It's a message from a mysterious girl named Olga Marsdale, saying that the key lies between these covers. Raven takes out her scanner and checks the book, and sure enough, she finds an ancient key hidden behind the cover, but now she still has to find what it opens. First thing the next morning, Raven starts searching through the maps of the area around the school. This girl, Erin, asks her what she's been up to, and she explains that she's looking for a place called Crystal Creek. Before she left, her dad told her to look for the place once she got to the school. But Erin here says that she's never heard of it, and she can't find any trace of it on the map. Frustrated, Raven goes to her room and lies down in bed, trying to figure out where to look next, but when she opens up her nightstand, she's shocked to discover that the book is missing. Quickly looking around, she finds it on a desk across the room, and it's opened to the page about the demon granting a wish. It looks like someone else knows about her deep dark secret, but she has no idea who it could be. Later that night, Raven goes back to sneaking around the house with the scanner, trying to find any trace of the box, until a noise at the end of the hall gets her attention. The sound leads her to an old library, and in the next room, she finds a hidden door built into that wall. Picking the lock, she's able to get inside, having no idea that someone else is already watching her every move. Inside, she finds a large book on the shelf with the title Crystal Creek. This must be what her father wanted her to find, and behind it there's an opening for her key. But nothing could prepare her for what's about to happen next. The passageway leads her to an abandoned part of the building that hasn't seen daylight in years, with mold and bloody handprints covering the walls. In one of the rooms, she finally discovers the large wooden box, held shut by heavy iron chains, and with the word Jack inscribed on the lid. Raven picks the lock, holding it closed, but just then she hears the headmistress calling her name. Panicking, she runs out and tries to shut the secret door, but now it's jammed, and while she's distracted, somebody else comes along and starts winding up the box, unleashing the demonic-looking clown that lives inside. Her only choice is to hide behind the desk as Principal Hinch enters the room, waiting for just the right moment to sneak past her. Noticing the door, the principal heads inside with no idea that she's walking straight into a death trap. She sees the person who opened the box, but they run off before she can stop them. Confused, she nervously approaches the object when, all of a sudden, the lid violently slams shut, slicing all of her fingers clean off. The woman falls back, injured, as the massive demonic clown emerges from the box, and as it lifts her into the air, it effortlessly crushes her skull with one hand, all while someone in a black hoodie watches from the shadows, before dragging her body back into the box as the soul counter turns to 1, which makes 3 down, with 7 more to go. Waiting until the coast is clear, Raven goes back to the room only to find the box is missing, and all that's left of the headmistress are her fingers scattered across the floor. Okay, for a principal, old lady Hinch here wasn't very smart now, was she? If you ever find a strange box covered in demonic symbols in the secret room of a giant mansion, you need to calmly walk outside, light a match, and burn the whole damn building down without asking another question. You never want to get in there for a closer look, otherwise you're gonna end up getting dragged down to the underworld, and I kinda feel like that should be common knowledge even by now. So then, the principal here still had plenty of time to run for her life as the demon was climbing out of the box. Well, I guess that's why she didn't coach the track team. We give her death 2 thumbs up, but only because that's all she has left. This puts Raven in a tricky situation now, but it never would have happened if she didn't leave the damn book unattended. I mean, seriously, are you really just gonna leave the Necronomicon lying around for any idiot to read? I don't know why she'd even unlock the damn box when she had no intention of opening it in the first place. But now that she did, it looks like she has a big-ass problem on her hands, and she needs to be very careful about what she does next. Right now, the only ones who know about the box are her and whoever opened it. Instead of confronting anyone, she needs to continue to play dumb and act like she has absolutely no idea what's going on, just like everyone else. This will help her blend in with the others, and if she watches them all closely, then she might figure out who else knows the truth. Now, based on what we know about the demon, there's actually an easy solution here where Raven can still get what she wants. The demon needs 6 souls before it returns to the box, and Principal Hinch was the first, meaning that there's 5 more to go, including Dean. That's still 7 of them here at the school, and minus Raven and whoever opened the box. That's exactly enough souls to give the demon what it wants. Whoever opened the box doesn't care who it kills, they just want to get their wish. So even without knowing who they are, Raven can actually work together with them to get this over with as soon as possible. It's not an ideal solution, but sometimes you have to adapt to your situation, and as long as Raven survives, she can still save her dad. In the morning, Raven storms in demanding to know who took the box, but none of them seem to know what the hell she's even talking about. She turns on Olivia first, but when she can't get anyone to confess, she starts getting suspicious of everyone in the room. Even her innocent friend Kara here. She's convinced that someone wants the object's power for themselves. But when she can't figure out who took it, she storms out of the room, ready to take matters into her own hands. Furious, she goes up to Olivia's room and starts searching through her things, but it looks like the girl is actually innocent. That's when Kara comes in and offers to help, and Raven finally admits that something she found last night scared her. But when the girl asks for more information, she refuses to get into it, still not sure who she can really trust. Going back to the principal's office, she opens up the woman's desk to get her phone, but ends up breaking her lockpick in the process. When she looks at her device, she sees a picture of her dad that reminds her what she's fighting for, and she knows that she can't give up just yet. In a flashback, she remembers finding her dad in an alleyway after getting jumped by Harvey's minions, worried that they won't have much longer before the bad guys finally kill him. Seeing an opportunity, this girl Victoria here sneaks off by herself for some activities that the principal, quite frankly, probably wouldn't approve of, but she has no idea that she's not really alone. That's when something rushes by in the shadows and the girl stops what she's doing to take a closer look. Thinking that it's just a prank from the other girls, she follows the noise until it leads her into another abandoned area, where she finds the mysterious box sitting in the middle of the room. Just then, the lid shoots open on its own, and the creepy-ass clown doll jumps out to say hello. Curious, Victoria leans in closer, but that's when the doll's face begins to open up into several pieces. All of a sudden, a demonic claw reaches out from inside, grabbing Victoria by the face and brutally crushing her skull, without any of her friends even hearing her scream. That makes 4 down with 6 more to go. Okay, somebody really should have told Victoria here that her bad habits were going to get her killed one day. Whatever GPA is required to get in this place, it must not be very high, because you'd have to be fucking dumb to go checking out random noises in the dark when people are literally going missing with no explanation. And I guess they aren't recruiting athletes either, because this is our second victim now, whose escape strategy consisted of sitting on the floor and screaming until somebody died. I don't know why I have to keep saying this, but when you walk into a room and find a mysterious demonic box, what you want to start doing is quickly walking in the opposite direction. Either that or light it on fire before it's too late. Don't wait for the little demon clown to come out and then sit there like a deer in headlights as it starts doing this shit. Like, come the f*** on now. As for Raven, she made a big mistake by immediately confronting everyone about the box. Now, when they realize that they're in danger, they're going to immediately suspect her of being involved. And that's going to make her job of surviving this a lot more difficult, but pay attention to the pattern here. There's another way to take back control of the situation. Every person that the demon kills narrows down the list of potential suspects. Whoever opened it should know that the creature can't harm them, so she needs to watch out for anyone who disappears from the group too often without getting killed, or doesn't seem to be that worried about the threat because they're probably the one who set this monster loose in the first place. Once she identifies a suspect, she can try taking that person out before the demon claims another victim. With a little luck, this might nullify the contract and send the demon back since it never got a chance to fulfill the summoner's wish. She'll have to do it herself since the clown won't harm them, but to me, it's totally justified when whoever did this literally wants to sacrifice them to a demon for their own personal gain. Meanwhile, Dean here comes to visit the girls, wondering if they've seen the principal. It turns out that she's his mom, which explains why he gets to stay at an all-girls school, but they still have no idea where the woman is. They're convinced that she wouldn't disappear without a good reason, but they're starting to get worried since it's so rare for her to ever leave the property, especially without letting anyone know. Going to his room, Olivia tries distracting him with a little alone time, but he can't get in the mood while he's still worried about his mom. Annoyed, she has another idea about what's really on his mind, convinced that he secretly has a crush on the quiet girl Willow instead. Her boyfriend firmly denies the allegations, insisting that she's the only girl for him, but what neither of them realize is that Willow here has been secretly listening the entire time. The girl heads downstairs feeling upset, where she notices an open door leading down to the basement. Peeking inside, she finds the box in the center of the room and a puddle of blood with Victoria's bracelet lying on the floor. All of a sudden, the demonic clown appears right behind her, and she screams as it lunges for her neck. Hearing the commotion, Raven rushes to the source of the noise, but when she gets there, the clown and the girl are both gone. Strangely, she notices that the name on the box has been changed to Rose. But before she can look any closer, Willow comes sprinting around the corner with the demon chasing after her, and they both escape back upstairs just in time. Horrified, the girl collapses as soon as they get through the door, and Raven warns the others that there's some kind of demonic creature down in the basement. That's when they notice Victoria's bracelet in her hand, and she has to break the news that their friend was killed. The girl tries calling for help now that she has her phone, but now she can't seem to get any service. She can tell that Aaron here is thinking about making a run for it, but warns her that she won't make it past the gate in one piece. The other girls ask Willow to explain what she saw, and she tries her best to tell them about the terrifying creature that came out of the box. After hearing this, Olivia remembers seeing the drawing in Raven's creepy little book, and immediately calls her out in front of everybody. The others start turning on her right away, convinced that she must have brought the demon with her, and they demand to know why she's really there. Cornered, she admits that they really are dealing with a demon, but swears that she never meant for any of them to get hurt. She explains that the demon needs to claim 6 souls, and so far it's already taken 2. Her job was to steal the box, but it was someone else who opened it and set the demon loose. Problem is, they don't know who did it, and Raven says that whoever it was is the one responsible for all of their deaths. Nervous, the other girls decide that they need to get out of there, but the principal was the only one who had the keys to the gates. Even still, Erin refuses to wait around any longer, and she's determined to escape even if the others are too scared to try. Okay, we may never find out who the smartest girl at school is, but now I think we all know who's the dumbest. Looking at you, Willow. Here I was thinking that Victoria was bad, but now even more people are going missing, and you're investigating mysterious puddles of blood in the basement. I'm sorry, but do you want to be killed by horrors beyond your comprehension or not? Here's an idea. When you find a pool of blood on the floor, run and yell for help before you find out who did it. Willow's lucky she managed to get away, or is she? Which brings us back to our list of suspects. You see, so far, Willow's the only one fun to have a close encounter with the demon and walk away. That's awfully suspicious when we know that it can't hurt whoever opened the box. With her mom having recently died, she has a clear motivation to want that wish. And since the other girls at school bully her, it makes sense that she'd be willing to trade their souls. There's no way to prove it yet, but she's my #1 suspect until we find more evidence. Now, when it comes to what Raven should do next, she's actually missing a great opportunity here. Escaping is a great idea, but what makes it dangerous is being caught outside alone. Since Erin wants to go, she's basically volunteering to be a meat shield. I'd team up with her and tell the other girls that I'll send back help. But really, I'm just hoping that they'll keep the demon busy while I find a way out, and bringing Erin with me just in case I need to throw her under the bussy bus. They gave up on trying to unlock the gate because the principal's the only one with the key, but there's still a good chance that she didn't have it on her when she died. I'd at least try searching her desk before they tried anything else, because that could make their escape a lot easier. Otherwise, it looks like it should be easy enough to hop the fence if she finds a ladder or stacks up enough objects. She'll still need the box, but that part is simple. All she has to do is let the demon finish its job, and then jump whoever walks out of there alive and take the box for herself. That way, she can still save her father. Making it to the gatehouse, Erin rushes inside and starts pulling on the handle, but she can't get it to budge without the principal's key. The gate won't open no matter how hard she pulls, and that's when she hears a demonic growl coming around the corner. Seeing the creature approaching, she takes cover underneath a table just as the clown starts searching the room, holding a piece of glass to defend herself. For a second, it looks like he's not going to find her, but just when she thinks it's safe, the monster mashes its arm straight through the table above her head. The other girls hear her screaming, and Raven tries to run outside, but they stop her before she can leave. In the barn, the Jack knocks Erin down and grabs a scythe from the wall, using it to slice her throat before she can get back on her feet. This makes 5 down with 5 more to go, and 3 more souls left for him to claim. After searching throughout the house, Raven comes back to the other girls with some weapons just in case they have to fight. A field hockey stick can be a decent clown basher in the right hands. But as for Raven, she's sticking with her trusty old combat knife. Pulling him aside, Olivia tells her boyfriend that she wants to come up with a plan of her own. She's decided that saving the other girls isn't worth it, when they could just use them as meat shields while they make their escape. Dean hesitates for a second, but finally cracks when she reminds him that it's supposed to be the two of them against the world. Going back to the others, Olivia suggests that they should just try destroying the box instead, but Raven insists that it's not possible. The other girls are too worried to try anything that might piss off the demon even more, and she calls them all cowards for being so afraid. Speaking up, Dean says that he wants to get revenge for his mom, but chances are that he'll be seeing her again very soon. Sticking together, everyone goes back to the basement door as Raven leads the way inside, but when she gets there, the box has already changed places once again. The girl tells the others to follow her as they search the rest of the house, going back to the top floor and making their way up to the attic. Just then, they hear the box starting to turn, and Olivia grabs the key, locking the others inside. She tells Dean to run for it, just as the girls realize what's happening, but by then, it's already too late. Willow starts struggling to get the door open, and Dean comes to a stop at the top of the stairs. It looks like Olivia was right about his secret crush, but if he won't come with her, then she'll just have to leave him too. Turning around, the girl runs down the stairs only to find the Jack already blocking her exit, and screams as it decides to come after her first. Dean pulls her away just in time, and they run into a closet where the two of them can hide, watching through the vent as the demon starts to search the room. After a minute, it realizes that there is only one place that they could possibly be. Dean covers his girlfriend's mouth as they both duck down, hiding as they can hear the creature marching towards them. But just when it looks like they're done for, it sounds like Jack here actually leaves the room. Dean stands back up to check if they're really safe when, all of a sudden, the monster pierces its claws straight through the door, stabbing him directly in the eye. The demon rips the door open as he falls over dead, but its claw gets stuck in the wood, giving Olivia a chance to get away. And so far, that makes 6 down with 4 more to go. Okay, just when I thought I'd seen it all. These girls literally seem like they're losing brain cells faster than they're losing friends. Usually only one of you messes up this bad, but this time there's just too many moronic decisions to go around. And Aaron and Olivia, that's why both of you f***ed all the way up. We'll start with you first, Aaron, since your mistakes aren't actually that bad. Trying to get out of there was a pretty decent idea, all things considered. The problem was that you failed to bring even a single meat shield with you. And that goes against everything that we've been trying to teach here at the How to Beat Survival School. So far, every single victim got killed while they were alone. So the absolute last thing that you want to do is leave the safety of the group. Especially when there's still 5 survivors left and the demon only has to claim 4 more souls. At least you made a decent attempt to hide, but when it was time to run, you decided to fall to the floor and do nothing once again. And that's why you won't be coming back next semester. But when it comes to the biggest idiot of all, it's gotta be Olivia here who takes the cake. So your master plan was to sacrifice the others so that you and Dean could get away? That's honestly not a bad idea, but the only problem is there was one humongous flaw in your plan. The demon needs to claim 6 souls before it goes away, and with Hinch, Victoria, and Aaron dead, that makes 3. But remember, it can't kill the person who summoned it. Unless it was you or Dean who originally opened the box, which both of you knew that it wasn't, then it was mathematically impossible for your plan to work, and you got your boyfriend killed for no reason at all, officially making you the biggest moron in all of the kingdom. There's still a good chance you'll get what's coming to you before the end, but for now, I guess there's only one thing left to say. Aaron and Olivia, you two idiots just f***ed up. Olivia races back through the house, trying desperately to escape, but the demon keeps cutting her off at every turn. Upstairs, the other girls finally manage to break out of the attic just as she comes running by, and they all regroup in the library at the end of the hall. She's heartbroken over what happened to Dean, but Raven here is still furious that she tried to use them all as meat shields. They're catching their breath when all of a sudden Olivia here screams as Jack rushes at them from the shadows. But the instant that he steps into the moonlight, he pulls back in pain and disappears in a cloud of smoke. It's a major breakthrough, and after seeing this, the girls realize that this creature has a weakness. Now they just need to figure out how to exploit it. Looking through the window, they notice that it's a full moon, and a blanket of the strange red fog is already covering the entire area. Olivia tries using her phone to call for help again, but she's furious to discover that they still can't get any service. That's when Raven starts to wonder if maybe she was the one who opened the box after all, and was trying to use the 3 of them as the final payment for her wish. The girl swears that she's innocent, but the others still don't believe her, because if she didn't open the box, then that means that it had to be one of them. Raven asks if they know anything about the name Rose, but once again, it's nothing but a dead end. They start tossing around allegations of who else could be responsible, but in the end, everyone has a plausible reason for why they wouldn't want the other girls dead. While the others are busy arguing, she finds a page in the book explaining the Jack's greatest weakness. During a blood moon, the demon is vulnerable to the moonlight, and if they can find a way to harness it, then they can use this power to defeat him. Thinking quickly, Raven comes up with the idea to use pieces of broken glass to reflect the light, pointing it at the monster the next time that it shows up. Olivia says that they'll have to focus the rays in a single direction first, but for that, they can use the lenses from the telescope in the library. Raven goes to set things up, but while she's distracted, Olivia makes another shocking discovery. Flipping through the book, she learns that a victim can be brought back if you rearrange the letters on the box, and realizes that it could be her only chance to save Dean. Okay, it looks like it's time for the final showdown. The girls have their battle plan, but they need to be careful because they're still missing a critical piece of the puzzle. The demon still needs to claim 2 more souls, and now that there's only 4 of them left, unless it was somebody from outside of the school. This means that the person who opened the box is in the room with them right now, and now they know their master plan. To make matters even worse, Raven left the book lying around again, and now it looks like Olivia here is about to do something even more stupid than she already has. Instead of splitting up, everyone should have stayed together while they got ready to set up their trap. Breaking up the group doesn't just leave you without any meat shields, it gives the real killer a chance to sabotage their plans. With only 2 souls left to claim, I'd make sure that I was in a group of at least 3 at all times. Finding out the demon's weakness is a major breakthrough, but they'll only get one chance to use that effectively. After that, they'll lose the element of surprise, and the demon will know what to watch out for. From studying its patterns, we know that the demon almost always goes after victims who are alone. And we need to take advantage of this by using someone as live bait. They can't ask for volunteers because then the person who summoned it will just sabotage the plan. So, what they need to do is draw straws and choose a person randomly. Once they get things set up, they can leave that person in a room on their own, making them look like an easy target. And then, when the demon comes, hit him with as much moonlight as possible, and hopefully that's enough to finish the job. While the others are busy, the girl searches around the house until she finds the box in an empty room, and decides to try bringing her boyfriend back. Spinning the letters, she reaches down and starts turning the handle while repeating the magic words. Until finally, the evil doll bursts through the lid, staring at her with those big, googly eyes. All of a sudden, the Muppet turns to look directly at her before lowering back down into the box. And a second later, Olivia actually gets her wish as her undead boyfriend climbs out of the void and starts chasing her back down the hall. The girl rushes back to the others, who quickly realize that Dean here is actually the demon. Stepping in between them, Raven gets ready to protect them with her knife when the creature accidentally walks into the moonlight, evaporating in a big cloud of smoke. Meanwhile, upstairs, Willow here ends up trapped by herself and has to run for her life as the clown starts coming after her. Reaching a locked door, there's nothing that she can do as the monster closes in, and when she tries hitting it with the field hockey stick, it only laughs in her face before impaling her through the chest with its claw, making 7 down with 3 more to go. In the hallway, the others are just starting to let their guard down when Jack suddenly bursts out from the dark and slashes Kara across the face next. Terrified, the girls split up as the creature chases after them, and Olivia here ends up back in the attic. Hitting a dead end, she stands there thinking of what to do next, until suddenly someone sneaks up and clubs her in the back of the head, instantly knocking her unconscious. When she wakes up, the girl finds herself chained to the walls, and that's when she discovers her attacker's true identity. It's Aaron, who actually survived her encounter with the demon when his scythe got stuck in the wall, and came back just to teach this asshole a lesson. After calling her out for being such a terrible friend, they hear the Jack-in-the-Box starting to wind up, and Aaron leaves her for dead as the demon emerges from the box. But her plan is not as foolproof as she thinks. Screaming for help, there's nothing that Olivia can possibly do as the monster crosses the attic and starts brutally slicing her up with its claws, before finally slicing her throat to finish the job. That makes 8 down, with 2 more to go, but it's not over yet. Erin comes out of hiding thinking that it's all over, but when she looks at the lid of the box, she notices that it's only counting 5 souls. Horrified, she realizes that the demon isn't done with them yet, but when she tries to run, she can't find her way back to the door in time. Cornered, the girl picks up a wooden stake and pierces it straight through the demon's chest as it lunges towards her. Looking down, it only laughs and pulls the stake back out, driving it straight through Erin's eye and making 9 down with 1 more to go. It's already too late by the time that Raven gets there, and the demon returns to the box after claiming its 6th soul. She's distracted when the ring on the lid lights up blue, and while she's not looking, someone sneaks up and stabs her in the back. Falling to the ground, she's shocked to learn that it's Kara with the Uno reverse. Turns out it was her who opened the box and let the demon out, meaning that it couldn't kill her. And what's even crazier is that she's actually been working for Harvey all along. Her sister Rose had a terminal illness, and she died before Kara here could find the box. But when she learned that it can grant wishes, she decided to take it for herself and use it to bring her sister back from the dead. The box starts glowing blue again as a ghostly figure appears at the gates of the school, and Kara shuts the door, trapping Raven in the abandoned part of the house, making 10 victims down with 1 survivor. And if we learned anything from what happened here, it's that Raven actually should have opened the box as soon as she found it. Oh boy, the Jack-in-the-Box rises. Interesting movie, interesting villain, interesting characters, interesting concept, interesting movie. Interesting! But if you think that we should have done anything differently, make sure to let us know down in the comments below. Leave a like and subscribe, and check out that How to Beat playlist for more videos just like this one. I'm the Guy. I'll see you in the next video, and have a damn good day.